Hi everybody, welcome back to my Design Basics series. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. In our last video we talked a little bit about, or a lot about, how your paper choices affect the look of your book. And we looked at several books that were different books, different designs, but they all used the same paper and they all looked very different based on how you chose your paper. Well, today we're going to do the exact opposite. We're going to look at some books where the book design itself is the same, but they use different papers, and you can see how different they look. And one reason I'm doing that is, if you're anything like me, you have YouTube favorites that you like to watch, and maybe you're having an evening where you have nothing to do and you're watching a bunch of videos and you see one of your favorite YouTube teachers make a beautiful album, and you think, oh, I want to make that album. And then you look at the date and you realize that she posted it 2 years ago and there's not a chance you're going to get that paper. Or it's just a very popular paper, it sells out immediately, and you're disappointed and you feel like you can't make that book because you can't get that paper. But that's not true. You can still make the book, use your own paper choice, a different paper, and your book won't look just like hers, but it'll still be beautiful because the basic design of the book is good. And so I want to show you how the same book looks with different paper choices, okay? I have this little book right in front of me. Well, I guess we'll start with that. And let me pull in its companion book. These are the same. This is one of my designs. This is Frilly Fun. Is what I called it, but let's look first at this one and then we'll look at the second version of it. So this, I used a ribbon closure on this particular version of it. This is, what is this? This is Santorini, I believe, from Prima. I know it's Prima and I think it's Santorini. I know these flowers are Santorini, so I'm pretty sure this is Santorini. So as you can see, it's got these little, the edges of a lot of the things in the book have this die cut edge, which I did on a silhouette, but you could use a die. That's where it got its name. So it has tags, the usual things that you would see in an album. Side pocket inserts. There's a little waterfall. And we're going to look at this a little more detail, but I'm just giving you a flip through to get an idea what this one looks like. This opens, these flip open. This flips down, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it's just a pocket. I guess it's just a pocket. It's been a little while since I looked at this one. Oh yeah, that's the one that flips down. And that flips out. Okay, so it's a, it's a cute little album, little vellum pocket. And Santorini is, of course, beautiful. All the Prima florals are just gorgeous. So then, this one, sorry, I can't remember the name. I believe it's Echo Park, this paper. So I used a slightly different closure on it. But, okay, so you can see, here's that same little frilly pocket. This opens up, which I won't do, but let's see if you can get both of them. You can see these are exactly the same tags, the same inserts, the same little pocket, okay? The same side pocket insert. Here's the waterfall. And I'm gonna try and get this one open so that you can see. I hope you can see. So exactly the same, right down to the same cut on the edges as the previous book. The same little tucks and side pocket inserts. Little pocket here. Let me open this so you can see. We didn't look at it on the other one, but it's very simple. Just a little tied flaps. Oops, well, I really can tie a bow. This, just as an aside, and you can see here's the same one. This is actually even the same seam binding. What I did with this is I just put this seam binding on a piece of plastic. I think it was a plastic bag, like a zipper bag, and then took my ink pad, obviously not with the pink, but with like vintage photo or walnut stain, something like that, and just inked it. That's how I got it to be off-white. So you can see, you know, very different looks, but it's the exact same book, right? And they both look nice. So, you know, say in my video, I used this. I actually think I can't even remember now which ones I used in the videos, but you know, if I used one and you couldn't get this paper, that doesn't mean you can't make the same album with a different paper and get a good effect. Don't feel like just because somebody uses a certain paper that you have to use the same paper. You don't. Okay, so let's look at another example. I'll set this one aside. And as you can see, this one I used a clip closure, and this one I just have a bow. And that's one of the few instances where something was slightly different between the two books. Okay, so let me set that one aside. And I don't know, you may or may not have ever seen some of my very small albums, but they're some of my favorites. So this one, same book, just two different papers. This is Graphic 45 Bloom, and this is, it's die cuts with a view, but I can't remember. I think it's Primrose, maybe? So this one's so little, I should be able to get it. So now these are similar, they're both florals. So there's not quite as much difference as in the last books that we looked at, but you can see it's got, let me open this. You know, same book, just different papers. And as you can hear from the little clack, there is a tiny magnet in there. Right, now this one here, I just left plain, but whereas I added a little tuck spot on this one. And here's that a pinwheel waterfall. This one has a magnet. This one I just closed with a clip. Little pocket. This is a tiny little envelope held with a ribbon. And this is, did I skip a page? I did. So here's our little belly band. This is just an opportunity to use a small cut apart, or in this case it was a sticker from the Graphic 45 sheet. Same here. I actually used the Graphic 45 one here. Little tags, and then this is a little window page. It opens up. This one I've got tied shut, and this is this is a little origami page, which I haven't opened in a little while, so it may be a little stiff. But there we go. Okay. And it's the same on this one. And there we go. And I'm not gonna, I won't tie it, but so you get the idea. And then this is just woven scraps. Same book, different papers. And as a matter of fact, let me just pull this one in. Oops. This is the same book as these two. Of course, this one and this one use the same paper. This is the exact same book, it's just a different size. All the same things. There's the envelope, there's the window page, there's the origami. So there's another example of same book, different paper. another pair. Now, one thing to notice between these two, this is Prima Love Story, and this is, oh, what is this one called? It's Graphic 45. It's one of their, obviously, beach theme papers, and I can't remember the name of it. I'm terrible about that, sorry. When I make a book, I will often make a prototype before I make the final version, and this is actually the prototype for this, so it doesn't have as many decorations, but it is the same book. And it has these tags on the side, and they're tied with a combination of seam binding and little metallic floss. But, I mean, the book is complete. This book is complete. It just doesn't have quite as many embellishments. So here are a couple of little pockets, and they have tags in them. Here's a pocket, and these pages are actually double folds. Okay, here's a belly band. This is an envelope. This is a flip envelope, which you've probably seen in several of my albums. I like using them. And here's a pocket with a tag, again with the matching large tag, a little side waterfall, and here's a flap, another flap. So it's double flaps on each side, and then another double flap here. So lots of places for photos in this particular book. And again, this is Love Story from Prima, which is a real favorite of mine. I think I've made, I don't know, 4 or 5 albums out of it. And then there's a belly band and a pocket, and there's the back. Right, so you get the idea. It's very pink, very pretty. And then here we have the exact same book. Find space for this. And the Graphic 45 looks very, very different. But it is still the same book, right? So actually, let me pull the Prima Love Story back in so you can see. I hope you can see both of them under the camera. So you can see they're the same book, but just look very, very different. I'm gonna pull this one back down. It's got the same elements, but a different look. So when you are deciding on a project, don't feel like just because you can't get the paper that was used in the original tutorial that you're following, that you can't make the album. So I'm just going to do a quick flip through on this one because you've seen the Prima version. And here is the Graphic 45 version with the envelope, the side tag, the little tag here. Let's see, we opened this page, so let me go ahead and open this page. This is the double flapped page. This time in the Graphic 45. I mean, and I understand the feeling behind watching a particular tutorial and thinking that you're never going to get as good a look because you can't get that same paper. I mean, certainly there have been plenty that I've watched where I was disappointed because I couldn't get the same paper. But you can still, follow the directions the designer is giving you in the tutorial with your own paper. And, if the album is well designed, and I'm sure it is, since you like it, you'll still get a good look. And I'm going to show you an example where I did that. So, because so far everything I've shown you have been my own designs, and if you like any of them, you'll find the tutorials here on this site. But I'm going to pull in 2 albums that I don't even know if I can fit both of these. This little ephemera fell out of one of these albums. Okay, hang on, let me pull this one in first. These two albums I'm about to show you are the same design but different sizes. And let's see, I'll figure out where that goes. This is designed by Ginger, my sister scrapper, and I may have shown you this album before, but I'm not sure. And I just love it, and I'll post a link to her channel down below. She made this in 2 different sizes, and I can't remember exactly which paper she used for the smaller size, but whatever it was, I couldn't get it. And I used the Tim Holtz. That's what this is. This is Tim Holtz. I forget what it's called, but it's a Tim Holtz paper. And I think this came from right here. Yeah. And I just love it. This was the second version of this that I made. This was the first version she made, but it was the second one I made. The first version, after she had made whatever album she made with this, she wanted a bigger version. So she made a bigger version and designed it. And she used Graphic 45 Safari. And at the time I didn't have it, and I didn't think I'd be able to get it. And I did end up getting it eventually, but what I did have was Tropical Travelogue from Graphic 45. So that's what I used. And again, I'll post a link to her channel so you can go and see her Safari version. But I didn't think that I was going to be as happy with mine because I just loved the paper she used. But as it happens, I love this book. I love the paper, and I'm really happy with the way it came out. And had I been able to get this Safari at the time, I would have used it, and I'm kind of glad I didn't because I really, really like the way this one came out. So it's the same as the one I just showed you, it's just larger and obviously different paper. So let me pull this one back and open to, here we are. So, I don't know, these albums are huge, so you're gonna have a hard time, I think, seeing. But same book, just completely different look, right? All right, so I just wanted you to see that as an example. So this one is Tropical Travelogue. This book is designed by Ginger at my sister scrapper. And one last example I have for you where it's the same book, different paper. Now this one you may have seen. You haven't seen this one, I don't think, but you may have seen this one because this is my most recent book tutorial that I've posted, which uses Authentique Quest. And I designed this book as a design team project for Country Craft Creations. And I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do for this. I had the paper, I loved it, I had a few ideas in my head, but I wasn't 100% sure. I really wanted to do this book-in-book idea, but I wasn't 100% sure how I was going to execute it. This book pops off with a magnet, and then you have this book. So a lot of times when I have an idea and I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, I will do, as I mentioned earlier, a prototype album. So we'll look at this in a minute. Set that aside. So this is the prototype for the book that I just showed you. But it's a finished prototype. It's not as sketchy as the earlier one I showed you. This one's fully filled out. And it is another Authentique paper called Summertime. And let me open it up. And as you can see, it's got all the side pocket inserts with their ribbons. It's got the little book that goes inside and all the same elements. So I made this book first. It's, as you can see, very bright, very cheery. This is an envelope, or I should say it's a pocket. And this is the belly band. This is the side flips. Pocket belly waterfall, right? So then once I'd completed it, then I made it again using the Quest, and it looks very, very different, but it's the same book. See? So I'll just give you a quick flip through because you may have already seen this recently. It's, like I said, it's the most recent book I've posted. Okay, so let's just open this one again. Same book, completely different paper, completely different look. But I think they both look nice. So that's kind of all I really wanted to show you today. Just to encourage you to spread your wings. I'm just tying this bow here. Spread your wings. Try different papers. Just because a tutorial uses a specific paper doesn't mean you have to use that paper. Now, if you can get it and you like the look, absolutely, go for it. You know, go ahead and purchase the same paper, make the book. I'm not saying you should not do that. I'm just saying if you can't get that paper, don't feel that you can't make the album. For instance, this paper is still widely available. You should be able to find it at Country Craft Creations and make this book, I think. This one, though, it's an older paper. Odds are you're not going to be able to get this paper, but you can probably find something similar. Summer is coming. The summer paper collections will be out soon, if they're not already, and you know, you'll find something similar. So don't feel obliged that you have to make just like the tutorial. Or maybe you'll even see one where you think, gee, that book has a lot of details and things that I like, but I don't like the paper. Choose a different paper. Make the same book. You'll get a different look every time. Your book is not going to look like mine, even if you use the same papers, probably, unless you cut it literally exactly the same. So that's all I have for today. It's not too much. Shouldn't be too long a video for a change. I hope that you find it helpful and that you look at your older tutorials in a different light and feel like you still can make those books with whatever paper you have. So thanks very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video if you've enjoyed it. Feel free to make any comments down below, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.